Traditional masculinity was recently deemed harmful by the American Psychological Association. Among the traits it directly condemned were emotional stoicism and self-reliance. The APA report on guidelines for psychological practice with boys and men was followed by an inflammatory commercial from shaving product company Gillette, which likewise condemned traditional masculinity by framing it as abusive and devoid of empathy. However, when people today say be a man, often what they're referring to as being superficially tough, boiling the concept down to its weakest form. Of course, we can't blame today's men for this. Popular culture has portrayed manly men as little more than thugs who are cold in their relationships and numb in feeling, or who only care for their own interests. Meanwhile, men are discouraged from embodying even the most basic manly traits, at risk of being accused of toxic masculinity. Popular culture has played a clever game. Break the masculine character down to its most basic form, then attack anyone who dares embody it. Yet in the tradition of good leaders, the reason men need to be tough isn't for the sake of some surface image. The real reason men need to be tough is out of consideration for others. In a community, people naturally look to strong men for leadership. And in times of hardship, they look to these same men for a sense of security. If those men look panicked, then the people who look to them for leadership will feel like they need to fend for themselves. If everyone is undergoing hardships, a good man needs to endure it with a stoic frame, which in turn shows others that they too can endure it, giving them the courage to also face the hardship. Rather than stealing the strength of others or boosting his own image, a good man refines his inner strength to help strengthen those around him. Leaders come in many varieties. History has shown us both good and bad examples of this. And even from the bad examples, we can take positive lessons by learning from their errors. Some were self-indulgent, and some were selfless. History has shown us leaders who ruled by tyranny, and others who ruled through benevolence. It has shown us leaders who sought to crush all people beneath their boots, and others who sought to uplift all they were responsible for. These same principles apply to how a man balances his personal interests with the interest of others in any relationship. Masculinity has developed negative connotations for two primary reasons. First, that people with political interests, mainly rooted in communist ideas, have sought to overthrow all authority and all social hierarchy, which requires the destruction of men. And second, that few men still understand what it means to be good leaders. These principles were well known in the past. The 17th century Japanese philosopher Yamaga Soko wrote in The Way of the Night that the civil and military capacities to stabilize the world this way are to be found in greatness of heart. The ancient Chinese military text, Wei Liaozi, states, "Those who led the people in ancient times put courtesy and faithfulness before rank and salary, modesty before discipline, and friendliness before regulation." The Six Secret Teachings, another ancient Chinese military text, says, "Be calm and serene, gentle and moderate. Be generous, not contentious. Be open-hearted and even-minded. Treat people correctly." Of course, as Aristotle explains, just about anything can be problematic when taken to an extreme. The key is finding the golden mean, that pleasant middle ground without deficiency or excess. The dangerous thing for men is when they're told to forsake their nature altogether, to toss out everything that makes them men, to defy who they are inside, and to feel ashamed of their natures. If people don't face their inner nature, their darker traits go unrestrained, and their virtues go unrefined. Regardless of what the experts say to demonize masculine traits, it's likely that few women are interested in men who are indecisive, unmotivated, and weak in spirit, which is the direction they are pushing men towards. The solution isn't to abandon masculinity altogether, but instead for men to forge their character so they can embody the positive forms of masculinity.